Hi, I'm Shana Lipner-Grover from Sage Country Herbs, and we're here in San Diego at Balboa Park's Trees for Health Garden, and we're going to go visit some of our plant friends. We're here with one of my herbal friends. I have had a relationship with this plant for many, many years. This is Oregon grape root, commonly called Oregon grape. The root is the most common part used, but actually many parts of it can be used. So Oregon grape, this one in particular, its name is Mahonia aquifolium. Now, in some books, you might see it listed as Berberine aquifolium, but in California, it's called Mahonia aquifolium, and I say that because it's part of the Berberaceae family. So that Berberine this is the namesake of the Berberaceae family, but then that first name was changed to Mahonia, so that's what we call it now. Oregon grape is absolutely steeped in herbal history. It's been used by a wide variety of indigenous cultures along the West Coast because that is where it is native to. There are some areas that this plant becomes like a ground cover, and other species of this plant. It's actually really common, especially in understory of trees, like right here. It loves the dappled light. So this is a really prime environment. Now, this walk is called the Trees for Health, and this is not a tree. This is a shrub, a woody shrub, but it is so fitted perfectly to be in the understory, under the canopy of the trees, that it's really, really nice. The claim to fame of this plant is what's called the active ingredient. It's called berberine. It's an alkaloid. Berberine has had a ton of clinical study on it. Not only is berberine the reason that this plant has a lovely bitter taste, and I say lovely because while the flavor of bitter may not be one that is really appreciated in the Western palate, it actually plays really vital roles in our digestion, and this plant is absolutely fantastic. That bitter flavor from the berberine is a digestive stimulant, so you're actually going to digest your food more efficiently. It also specifically increases the ability of your liver to make more bile, and bile is so important. Bile is what helps us actually break down fats into individual fatty acids, and those are our building blocks to make healthy new membranes. So it helps with the breakdown and absorption of fats. It also, there's been quite a bit of clinical study into berberine for helping to reduce blood serum cholesterol. And this is really important because elevated blood serum cholesterol is contributing to cardiovascular disease, heart disease, as well as insulin resistance, complicating all of those issues and making them worse. So if we have natural things that we can do to help lower our blood serum cholesterol, that is a wonderful aspect. And this plant is very rich in berberine. That berberine is found in the leaves a little bit, but most of it, as I mentioned, is down in that root. And it's not actually just the root, it's the bark of the root. So it's actually, you take the root and you would actually scrape the bark off of it, and you know where it is because berberine is bright yellow and it's water soluble. And what I learned in having to process this plant is that when you're cleaning it, you need to make sure you don't submerge it in water because you can literally watch the berberine float away. So it's just a quick scrub, dip, scrub, dip, and you're good because you want to make sure that you hang on to all of that berberine. But berberine being water soluble means that you don't need to tincture this in high alcohol, and a tea of Oregon grape root is a very effective medicine, and that is wonderful. Even better if it's a decoction, because decoctions are specific for woody plant material that need more of that heat to open up the plant cells and allow that berberine and other compounds to come out. So this is the aquifolium species, as I mentioned, and this one is actually planted really commonly all throughout landscaping. And the reason is because it's got these really nice, deep, dark, rich forest green leaves. And then when these little flower buds that are just starting, when they bloom, there'll be this nice, bright canary yellow. And the contrast of that green with that yellow makes it a really beautiful plant. And these are evergreen leaves, meaning they don't fall off all at once, leaving just a bare plant. So it has this nice foliage. The foliage is also really recognizable because these leaves are actually leaflets with many small leaflets making up a leaf, and because the leaflets each along the margin or the edge of the leaf, they are spined. And that is a real key characteristic of Oregon grape roots, is that they have spined leaves. Some of the spines are going to be really sharp and pokey and actually draw blood if you're not careful, while these in particular are actually pretty soft. And here we have the flowers are just starting to bloom. See that nice bright canary yellow against that gorgeous dark green? It's just such a nice contrast. And this is only one flower, but once all of these are open, and then you can see there's some more, it'll be really eye-catching and really beautiful. And here is just another example of a Mahonia. This is Nevin's Mahonia. The leaves are significantly smaller and significantly sharper, but they still have the same orientation. You've got these small leaflets that make up a whole leaf. If we pull back, this is a much larger and quite shrubby bush, also getting ready to go to flower. All these little flower buds. Little tiny flower buds. You can see just how incredibly sharp those spines are. One of the other great things about Oregon grape and its berberine content, as well as some of its other plant constituents, is that it has been clinically shown to be incredibly antibacterial, especially against gram-negative bacteria like staph and strep. Of course, this doesn't take the place of getting a proper diagnosis, but it's good to know that we have herbal allies that we can turn to even when we have really intense things going on. Oregon grapefruit is a fantastic ally and is incredibly useful in so many different ways. It's also called an alterative. Alteratives are fantastic for helping maintain the immune system. They help with the elimination pathways. They help the body to maintain balance so the immune system can be as effective as it possibly can. So Oregon grapefruit is a great addition to your home apothecary.